But we will jump right into Clubhouse and we'll see where everything unfolds. Unnamed will start off first, and they will be banning their first attacker, Maverick, off the board. No surprise for me, one of the most dominant operators that we have seen on this map in recent times, for good reason. Pretty standard ban.
Yeah, pretty standard ban. I mean, it comes through because it's so easy to get open that east wall for a server's cache defense when there is a Maverick on the board for the attack, but the defenders still have options to bring it. I mean, I have strats to defend that, but I am a coach for a team, so I don't want to. I won't give any of those things away, but I will just say to teams that there are ways to defend that.
It's okay, chat. I will break him.
I'll
break him before the end of the night's over.
So yeah, we will see the rest of the bans coming through. Surprising, well, not so surprisingly, I suppose, because Lion is not going to make it through.
Shocking ban.
Mirror will get banned as well. Mirror not being too powerful in Clubhouse, but still not really out there for ban.
Yeah, it's still pretty strong. I think that just the simple fact that she can deny access to particularly that bottom floor, that drop hatch from Memorial, and that main stairs, so massive in my opinion, because you cannot destroy those mirror windows from above. Sure, you could say the same about the cache from mirror, but then you can destroy that from just a very simple toss and nade. That mirror window downstairs in garage is one of those trickier mirrors that you can really get rid of just in general inside a siege.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see how it does go through. It's moving to round number 1. It's going to be Gans Gaming who start through on their attack. And rather unsurprisingly, it's going to be a CCTV cache room hold to start with. So, I don't know, kind of surprisingly no clash here. I would have thought that clash would be fairly prevalent on a defense like this, especially with the Maestro on the board here.
I think that just because that Capo has been such a very regular pick for Clubhouse in general, that's why you don't see that clash too much. Of course, whenever she did get that nerf, I would say that kind of switch between her primary and her secondary completely killed that operator. She has no fragging potential, and she's just too easy to kill. She's way too easy. If you want to play that clash potentially inside of that catwalk area, one catwalk bolt covers her escape, and somebody just pushes up and kills her. It's not rocket science really, and that's kind of why I think teams have not chosen clash as much as they could. Of course, we may see with that little tweak she's been having where she gets her damage from her taser up from 3 to 5, then yeah, we may see her come back into the meta a little bit more, but really, with Nomad then being implemented, is there really ever going to be a career for Clash and Siege again?
Potentially not, but we'll see how this goes down without a Clash. I would have also liked to see maybe a Legion here, just because it's so easy for a Montaigne to push all the way up on those garage stairs and just get all the way in. If they get garage control, it's very easy. If you don't have a Legion, I would have at least liked to see maybe a deployable shield just about where Cactus is, and that's going to stop Montaigne getting too much control up there if he was being brought. But we're not going to see either of his operators just yet coming out from Guidance Gaming. We'll see how exactly where they want to take this. But the main objectives here are going to be getting that east wall open, potentially getting construction open, but also getting that top of that garage wall open on that southwest side, just to cut off the rotate here for Cactus.
Quick little thing to add in as well, guys, about this matchup. We've had a roster change coming in from Unnamed, and Mac is no longer with the team. Instead, Cactus has been brought in to fill that place. Unnamed believe that Cactus will be a better fit compared to what Mac has been in the entire season. It's quite sad to see. I'm a very good friend of Mac. I'm quite sad to see him not be here for the final week to try and fight for his place at LAN and potentially try and, if he gets that place at LAN, retain that championship that he does still hold, even though it may have been Xbox, still a champion in his own right. Can Cactus, the new boy who does play for Movistar Riders inside of the Spanish League, yes, already starting things off, eliminates Vexed. Easy peek from the Jaeger. A minute 30 to go, and he's going to get pressured very heavily from a lot of these different angles, of course, because that east side wall has been opened up. It's just another angle that he has to be cautious of.
Yeah, but he hasn't been cut off yet at all. There's not really too much control here for Guidance Gaming just yet. There's still plenty of roamers on the board. Kendrick does find Jugger, but Meads will find Hazy in return. Now it's a 4v3, and already the Ash and the Capital for the board. That's a pretty huge amount of fragging potential and also utility coming out there. The frag grenade will come out there from Kendrick, but won't find it smart because the NES will catch it midair.
A bomb has been located.
Minute to go. This is where the players of Guidance can start getting themselves in position for a potential collapse onto the bomb site. That's a good start for Guidance's Blackout. Fails Madman. Kendrick still alive and well. Uses a nade to get rid of the barbed wire. Another kill going in favor of Guidance as Cactus will fall. First gas canister to been expended by Tank. Tank and Mead, last two players alive to see if they can clutch out this round. Of course, we know that the Aldo can do some very heavy destruction in these kind of last-ditch seconds, can just empty that magazine entirely. Tank, we know how strong smokes can be in these close-range scenarios, not just with those gas canisters, but of course the shotgun inside of those CQB tactics can be so devastating, and Plant will try and be initiated by Blackout, but no, the Toxic Fumes will manage to collapse onto him. He's going to stick the Plant and manages to get it before he does get felled by the Toxic Babes. 2 versus 2. Tank versus Meads. They have to go for the retake. Tank sees the Habana drop on down. They know one's going to be outside of that west balcony. Meads trying to see if he can go for the peek and Harris. Great position for him. This will be an immense clutch for the players of Unnamed if he managed to do that. Tank misses a shotgun blast, but no, finally gets it. Meads has been downed against Kendry and will go for the pickup. Still plenty of time for this play. Kendry trying to see if he can find anything, but no, tags up. Tank just a little bit more. Revive has been eliminated and Meads will be there to salvage everything from that entire retake. Meads and Tank Ninjas kicking things off with a bang as Unnamed, they take the first round against Guidance Gaming.
Almost a massive mistake coming out there from Tank right at the end, where he placed his smoke, but he placed it at the east wall. But if you're gonna do that, you kind of need to rotate at that point, because you've cut off the rotates coming out from the other side. Of course, they know the Habana's outside the east wall. They know she's holding down the angle, so if you're going to smoke her off, you need to push. But he mistimed the smoke by just a millisecond and allowed the stick of the Plant to go down. The Fuser went down, but it was a pretty good retake coming out from Unnamed. Very, very aggressive, especially coming out from Meads. He just saw the great opportunity to go for it, and did go for it, and secured it. I think for Guidance Gaming, that Capital going down as early as he did completely destroyed the attack going down from them.
Yeah, you're losing one of your big utility operators who can really provide that more cover aspect. And not only, he's a free speed with an immense gun. That para can melt anybody within seconds. Just like the snap of Thanos' fingers, the entire team could be dead with that para. Hit so hard and in so many ways. But nonetheless, Unnamed, miraculous retake from them. And, well, Guidance, they will be starting on the back foot. Unnamed, they've defended the top floor, so they can now rotate and use these other bomb sites. It will be the downstairs, still waiting until some team, anywhere, I don't care what it is, attempts the barn stock. That's what I want. I want one of those to be seen, because I think that, I've said this before, the whole thing about the previous clubhouse with defending barn stock was the stock push was so easy for attackers. You take control of cash room, use the verticality, and that's it. Now with the new clubhouse, all of the issues that you had with defending that top floor is gone. I don't understand why teams aren't going to take this more and try and defend that area.
Well, I also think, as you mentioned, there are quite a lot of changes to clubhouse back from what it used to be like, and yeah, you are right, it's much easier to defend the top floor now, but at the same time, it is also kind of easier to defend the bottom floor, especially if you don't have a mirror. It allows you to roam quite heavy, and I think, I'm hoping that someone from Unnamed will try and roam just a little bit, and I think the fact that they put castles down in bar does support that.
So, moving on in, still this is going to be more of the room hunting time for Guidance, see if they can try and find whoever may be lurking about, and it will be one person inside of the pool table, and it's a bit of a risky position. We don't see too many players kind of in that mid-floor room area, and it will be Cactus. Has those goo mines, which can be used as a bit of a self-trigger to see if he can hear anybody try and sneak up from him, and of course those goo mines, very, very loud sound. You know, you hear the screams of the attackers whenever they try and push on through. Harris will make quick work of said Legion, but takes a lot of damage from it. Kendry, he sees the foot of the pulse and gets a knee shot, but really doesn't have an arrow to do any more damage. But no, the shots will come in, and Madman will fall, so Pulse off the board. A very aggressive standpoint from Unnamed has completely backfired for them, and Guidance, they take an early lead, and still half the round to go. This should be easy pickings for Guidance, as basically half the round is bit much like an entire round for you to really attack clubhouse.
Yeah, definitely. They could be able to get quickly open all these bar castles. It has been halting their progress just a little bit, but I loved that angle coming out from Kendry that completely shut down the roam game coming out from Unnamed. Took Madman off the board very, very early on, and it is going to be there. Jugget is going to be pushing up onto the central stairs, but quickly gets drawn down and is going to retreat back down. Just about a minute left to go on the clock, and still no frag is into the favor of Unnamed right now. They're in a 5v3. They've lost a decent amount of their utility, already losing that Legion. That is going to affect your late game. And the Bandit pushes all the way up to the main stairs. Harris, how do you not win that fight?
Yeah, quite questionable there from the players of Guidance. I would have expected that to go in favour of them even more so, but no, the return frags coming in from the players of Unnamed has completely changed the pace of this entire round. Guidance are going to try and open up in towards that church wall and might even try and go for the Valhalla straight through that single reinforced, or that soft wall in towards the B bomb site, which they may try and go for. It's looking like the setup, but Jugger and Mage both over the crossfire. Excellent positioning from the Smoke and Bandit alike. Jugger eliminates Harris before Kendrew picks up one onto Mage's tank. Kill for him onto Kendrew. Blackout trying to see if he can do his best to salvage around. Gets it down onto Jugger and manages to find the head in the mix of that. 5 seconds to go. Has the diffuser but flashes himself and runs in blindly through the corridor. And this should be an easy clutch. It wasn't even going to come down to the diffuser plant, as time just not on the side of Guidance Gaming. And well, Unnamed, they take another round, but just by the skin of their teeth, just like last time.
Guidance Gaming with a beautiful roam clear right at the start there. Some great angles, especially coming out from Kendrew right at the top there. Just opening that angle up onto the main stairs. They saw exactly how Unnamed wanted to play that, and they played beautifully against it. But then time just played horribly against them. They just did not keep up with the fact that they had control of the map. It was a 5v3. All they really had to do was just push from one side and just keep hammering at it. But they didn't get open church wall. Harris didn't get the frag onto the Bandit, and that's kind of where it all started to fall apart.
So Gym and Bedroom will see how they can go on their third pick bomb site. No barn stock, but really a team like Unnamed, which doesn't have that kind of same practice that we've seen, you know, other teams. They're not the very strat heavy teams. They're very quick, adapt, play on their feet. A bit like Vex, but more passive. I really think nobody can come close to the aggression that really Vex play anyway. But certainly Unnamed, they kind of fit in that same play style where they just kind of set up and see what happens, and they play very quick off their feet, which is a great skill to have, but sometimes does let them down just that little bit more, and that's where we've said that they've lost these very easy rounds, and you know, they've won the hard ones, but they've lost the easy ones, which sometimes just still doesn't make sense. Yeah,
no, you're definitely right there. They're making so many sort of late round mistakes that it's really affecting them. Their start of the round is so powerful. They have a great idea of what they want to do. They push in, they get all their objectives, and then I'm not really sure what happens with the comms. They kind of just can't close out these rounds. And I also think that how aggressive that Unnamed are playing right now is really not helping them now.
So, plenty of time for the players of Guidance to try and get themselves back into gear and get things on the board and get things working for themselves. And really looking at the way that Guidance have set up, they seem to be trying to force their way in, I would say, for the bomb sites a lot more than what they're used to. I think they need to play a lot more passive. They need to have more of that teamwork and that chemistry that we have seen from them quite a bit. They need to just find the roamers, first of all. They've done it well last time. Can they recreate that? There's only going to be one inside of Cash Room, and really Madman, sure, he may be a roamer inside Strip Club. He's not going to do a whole lot. I say that, there's going to be 2 people running over, and that's going to be the last place that the players of Guidance expected Madman to be in. You have to give credit there to Madman. I would say that Blackout getting that kill, Madman was never really expecting 2 players to be there, but still does the damage. And well, really, what can you say, James? That's a kill which I don't think we've ever seen before.
Madman just living up to his namesake there. I mean, who does that? Who sits there at that position, just crouched at the door? I mean, there was no way that Vex would have expected that, but it kind of lives up to the poor droning wave that's coming out from Guidance Gaming. And there we go, a flurry of kills just coming out from Cactus with a nice 2k. Shuts down Harris, shuts down Kendrew. Now it's a 4v1, all down to Blackout. He sees the runouts coming through, can't deal with both of them. And Cactus secures the 3k for himself. There we go, Unnamed took round number 3.
Yeah, it was pretty simple there for the players off Unnamed. That literally Guidance just pushed in one by one. They're not getting refrags. What is it with teams not getting refrags today? Nobody really knows how to set themselves up for a push. Talk to each other. That's probably #1 rule if you want to try and be an attacking side, is talk to each other and kind of plan your push out. I still think that Guidance, they rely very heavily on Kendrew most of the time. We've seen how much devastation that guy can do, not only just in the Premiership, also outside of his other leagues. Kendrew's definitely a guy to reckon with, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, playing in Challenge League, of course, he's always been a player that wins gunfights that he really shouldn't win. That he's been put into impossible scenarios, he comes through, he just takes the win, he's a really good book player. He has definitely been doing a lot of the heavy lifting here for Guidance Gaming, but apparently not during this particular game. He's had some good entry frags, but other than that, we haven't really seen too much movement from Kendrick just yet. It's 3-0 lead to Unnamed right now. They will go back to that cache and server room defense. And again, for Guidance, they achieved all of their early objectives here, despite the fact that they didn't have the Capital for the execute. They did open East Wall, they did open everything that they needed to open. They were right there, they even got the plant down during all of it, but then just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes coming out from them. Their post plant was horrible.
10 seconds left.
That's one way to put it. You could certainly say that there's things that they need to tweak and need to change, and they better do it pretty quickly because time is starting to tick away for them. You know, 3 rounds already. Going in favor of Unnamed. Will this be a 4th? I want to say that possibly it might be because sure, it came down very, very close between the last round off this particular bomb site. Can they make the mistakes not happen this time? Can they actually work together in that cohesion unit? Can they get the plant off successfully? They don't bring the Kappa, which we talked about is a very common operator, very strong one for Clubhouse. Can get those fire arrows down, try and cut off some of those rotations, and of course the smoke arrows are always going to be strong. They cannot be affected by the ADSs, those asphyxiating bolts. Jugger as a pulse, another very deadly operator that really Guidance they need to work towards and try and find and kill, because not just in Clubhouse, but any map, a pulse from below is the most deadly thing in a post-plant scenario.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Even just as the plant is coming down, right? He can deny the plant, he can waste a lot of time, he can get that opening frag onto someone who's holding an angle while the plant is going down. There's a lot of danger for that, and normally when you see a pulse on the board downstairs, it forces a roam clear, but Jugger isn't going to let himself get cleared out that easily. Vex goes down immediately, the thermite off the board. That is not good, but Tank Ninjas will actually get injured through this bit of a repel coming out there, but he won't manage to secure the kill just yet. Kendrew still trying to secure this kill using the Ash breaching charge, but unable to find it just yet. Tank Ninjas will crawl all the way back and surely get revived.
Yeah, fairly easy revive. Should be, but as you can see, he is from below trying to hunt to see if he can find the down. Barely sees the no, finally gets him. I thought Tank was going to get away with that, but not on his as what she had him on lockdown and still from below. This is very devastating. Looking at the setup, James, this is looking very strong for Guidance. They've cleared out the smoke. But I say that, look where Madman is. C4 comes out. Caster's Curse. I'm sorry, James.
Yeah, you're talking about the setup. He was going so well for Guidance all of a sudden, but then Kendrew does manage to get his entry frag. Meads does go down. That's going to allow a plant to go down sooner rather than later, but Cactus still has control. Madman moves back into the site. It's a bit of a ring around the rosies right now as Madman tries to go for the wall back. He sees it, but it gets taken down. How does Kendrew win those fights? Now he does go down and gets traded out, but Cactus is still trying to deny the plant here. Jugger should be able to support him from below here, but Cactus is going to get pushed now by Blackout. Tries to use the pistol to shut him down, but Cactus will win out. Unnamed take round number 4. Cactus still had an ADS. What?
Doesn't need it, bro. Doesn't need it. He's good. He has a 416. I think that's probably the least thing we should be worrying about. More thing we should be worrying about is that Guidance are 4-0 down against Unnamed. And it's thanks to Cactus, who has been this is his new. This is his first time playing in Prem. This is his debut. 6-2.
Well, as you said, he does play for Movistar Riders. They have been doing fairly well during the Spanish league, so that's kind of transferring over quite well here. They
won their land, did they not? I believe they won their Spanish land. I think they did. So, yeah, they did, because I remember how happy Yami was.
Yeah, it was between them and Vodafone Giant.
That's another guy I'm surprised isn't playing Prem. Yami, who plays for an international team, he has now a chance to play inside of UK Premiership, but he doesn't even try and get onto a team. Like, you know, we've seen, you know, Pengu play for Prem, even though he's in a Pro League team. We've seen right now Kendrew playing inside Premiership, even though he's in a Challenger League team. It's fine for him, for players doing that, even though they're in other teams. Sure, come ahead and play in Premiership, because we've seen that work. You know, we've seen players there like Feral, doesn't, you know, is not part of Vex, goes ahead and he qualifies for LAN. Yami could do the same, even though he is Welsh.
Yeah, no,
that's a big thing. Yeah, he's Welsh, guys. Come on. So is Madfan's Welsh. That's a lot of people don't know, because he actually doesn't sound Welsh, because he was raised in London. Fun facts with Devon.
I'm pretty sure Pi is Welsh as well.
Is he? Yeah. Never met Pi, wouldn't know. But you know what? I'll meet him at LAN.
There you go then, yeah. We'll be able to find out if he's Welsh or not. But before we get into all that, it's going to be round number 5. We need the final defense coming out from Unnamed. And we're going to see another basement defense coming out from them. And yeah, Cactus has been doing quite a lot of work here so far. And I think, honestly, just the amount of fights that Cactus is winning, that he just should not be getting away with right now.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
Parts where he should be getting traded, parts where he should be just getting immediately fragged out or getting cleared out, and he's just not. He refuses to do so. He refuses to go down. We will see a fairly heavy roam strategy yet again coming out here from Unnamed, but this time they'll not bring the cast.
Kendry opens things up. Onto Madman, eliminates the Jaeger, a very big roaming operator, and certainly if a player like Kendry can get the momentum behind him, he can be very deadly behind the trigger. Tank still there with the goo mines, can continue creating those sticky little mines. Of course, one of the most painful things to ever inject into yourself inside of Siege, even more so than an EE1D scanning you, I'd say. That's a bit of an arguable question, but nonetheless, you can see the players of Unnamed have now all on side of the bomb site. They're going to try and work very rapid on their kind of gun skill, I would say. But no, Harris, talking about gun skill, picks up a quick 2k from that main door. 2 players fall from Unnamed. The third, no, Meads there. On to Harris. Still more shots rattling from the blue tunnel. Meads there, sees the Jackal, eliminates said Jackal. And that will be a 2 versus 3. This is where we could see the clutch come in from Meads and Cactus, but no, Kendry puts into a 1 versus 3. Will come down the Cactus. C4 gets tossed out, pot to no avail. Nobody home. Cactus pushing his way in towards Arsenal Room, but Hayes will be there, and Cactus falls. A very clean round from Guidance to get their first point on the board.
The thing I really just didn't understand there coming out from Unnamed is just in the end there is a 2v3, the Smoky's getting pushed from 2 separate sides, and Cactus is still in Armory, still pulsing the ceiling of Kitchen. Like, you need to support your teammate in a 2v3, you need to be able to play off each other, you need to be able to trade those frags, and that just didn't happen right at the end there. On top of that, they rotated twice without, I mean, okay, so go back a little bit into that, and realized that Cactus did actually smoke out the bottom of the main stairs because he knew that KB was there, but then I guess the comms didn't really come through. He allowed his teammates to try and rotate, and Harris got a 2k from him.
Yeah, I think that was potentially one person died, and then we seen the other person try and peek to get refrag, but no. Great gun skill coming out from him. Managed to get that 2k, basically won the round from that stage. You know, you're eliminating 2 big factors there, and especially that kind of box area, which basically just leaves that blue tunnel walk-in very open. You know, we've kind of seen that the refrags come in, but really to no avail, and that will conclude the defensive rounds for Unnamed and also the attacking rounds for Guidance. So we're going to have the switch, and Unnamed, who are very strong on these attacks, now have a chance to go at it on Clubhouse, but then Guidance, very strong on defenses as well. This is kind of where I come down to the 50-50, where I think certainly this is going to be a lot more even because Unnamed are stronger on their attacks, Guidance stronger on their defense.
But don't forget as well that Clubhouse is a very, very defender-sided map. I'm pretty sure in comp overall something like 60% into the favor of defense, so I would expect that defenders should be able to try and bring this back. I mean, there's been so many games, I remember especially something like SK versus Cloud9 in Pro League, where they're down 4-1 and they bring it back 5-5. You know, it can definitely go through into that kind of thing. We'll see how this rest of this round goes go down, and we'll see how they do bring it in as we do move into round number 6. But I expect the same kind of attack coming out from Unnamed that Guidance Gaming did, but I do love the lineup here. The Capitao and the Glass being brought here is a deadly combo, especially if they can be used effectively. And we do see that Cactus has been doing a lot of work so far. I believe that he can get quite a lot of frags here on the board. It's going to be more up to Guidance Gaming to see what they can do.
We can only hope that the Jaeger, or not the Jaeger, the Buck can do, Buck, what am I saying? The Glass can do a lot of work, who has that very strong fragging rifle. We've seen that plenty of times. Jugger, kill for himself onto Hayes, so that will be the Legion gone, so no more sticky goo mines being deployed, only the ones that are left are now in effect. And looking at this, this is typical Unnamed. They open up the wall, they just play these long angles, you know, they open it up as quick as they can, more or less. And one thing which I find interesting, James, I'm sure you could probably shine more light onto it, is that teams are no longer taking Bandit and Clubhouse.
It's just kind of pointless to try and bandit trick, right? You got Maverick to deal with, you have so many things to deal with. There's no point in trying to bandit trick there because the ADSs are going to catch you out, and if they don't get burned and you immediately get naded out of the position, the book will just go below and take you out there anyway. So we'll see how it does go down. As you can see, Cactus is going to be trying to smoke nade out into the site. Let's see, EMPs are going to go down, but oh no, there goes Jugger, and the run out does come from Vex, and he gets the double kill, there we go, but no, traded out instantly. Cactus moves all the way in, takes him down, Unnamed to round number 6.
Unnamed, clean round from them. That is basically what that's their attack for Clubhouse. That is one of their strongest one that they do every single time. If you let a Glaz against Unnamed go through, they will use and abuse that power that Glaz really does provide for Clubhouse. We hardly seen any Glaz coming in from guidance. They didn't want to use that. But, you know, match point, kinda, I would say expected, but not a 5-1 scoreline. I would say it would be a lot more hotly contested. But we'll have to see really how it goes.
Yeah, we will have to see how it goes indeed. It is going to be map point to Unnamed, but even if they do win this, they do have another map to try and go through to see what they can do there. But we will see how Guidance Gaming try and do this on the defense. They are going to go downstairs this time to the Church Arsenal room. What do you think about this defense? Because this is becoming less and less of a preferable site these days.
I prefer it. I would say that looking at this compared to the gym and bedroom, yes. Because I've always been a big fan of downstairs. I think if you can get a really good pulse inside of kitchen, or inside of the armory looking in the kitchen, wins you a game, in my opinion. I think if a pulse is there, can get a pick. The amount of information Pulse can gather from that position, you can gather info onto the main stairs, onto the kitchen, even in towards the bar area sometimes. You can rotate over and even play inside of a bomb site, Pulse the Memorial, Pulse see if anybody's in triple wall, Pulse over towards Construction Tunnel. So much stuff because there's no other destructibility in terms of verticality, apart from that actual kitchen area. So yeah, looking at it, Pulse is a very strong operator, and if you know where teams are going to push from, it makes it so much easier for Clubhouse, especially at bottom 4 where it is a bloodbath where teams try and force their way in through one door a lot of the time. Then yeah, that's where Pulse kind of comes into his own play.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Pulse can be a very powerful play here, but I still think that with the new clubhouse as well, it makes roaming so much heavier, more of a potential, and we see Vex and Hayes are making good use of all of that. Not only the fact that he's going to try and force a roam clear out here, which is going to be very, very hard for Unnamed to try and deal with, but also the fact there's so many ways for them to return back down to the site as well. It's making this much more viable for them.
I think that Clubhouse will certainly be shaken up just a little bit whenever Cade, he gets added in, of course, but then we'll see how that comes. He is very far in the distance at the moment to be thinking about competitive play, but you know, just in the general meta, I'm sure that we will see a big difference for the next time around, whenever they are going to be allowed inside of competitive play. So, 2 minutes still to go, plenty of time in terms of the Clubhouse, where Clubhouse you can take basically painstakingly as long as you want to go for that final push in. Jugger will try and solo himself in and potentially take some fights if he can find any Madman as well, and a very strong fragging operator on the capo like we've talked about many times, and Vexed even picking up a kill for himself onto Mage from inside of the bar. You can see that the players of Guidance have rotated themselves in towards the mid floor. I believe that the construction hatch was shot open. They dropped down that straight away, and well, in a more precarious position for the most part. Tank trying to see if he can work on, but really Cactus starting things off in towards that dirt tunnel, going into the final minute 15. It's going to be a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, doing very well. Cactus taking control of Dirt Tunnel is going to mean quite a lot, but Vex is going to go down, Hayes is going to go down as well. Beautiful bit of roam clear coming up from Unnamed there. Jugger does manage to finish off Vex, and that's going to be a 4v2. Not looking too good all of a sudden for Guidance Gaming. Kenju still playing so aggressively. Does still have a Niger in his back pocket though. Blackout has been spotted out here. This is not a good place for him to be at all. He's got such a tight angle to try and hold, and he's got 2 people trying to push his position at the same time. And on top of that, there we go, Madman's Capital Balls are going to go down successfully. The Nitro goes out from Kenju, does manage to find Tank Ninjas. That's going to be 3v2. It has managed to even out just a little bit, but the plan is going to go down regardless of all of that. 30 seconds left to go on the clock. Kenju still going to hold down to the bottom of main stairs. Chud trying to win the fight, but the Fuser will go down regardless of that.
Quite unfortunate, Kendry didn't land those shots that certainly the retake could have been on if that gunfight did go in his way. It does go in his way, but potentially just that little bit too late. But no, Blackout downs Cactus before getting refragged by Madman. 1 versus 1, Kendry versus Madman in this scenario. We'll see if the Xbox champion can pull it over the PC and try and secure the first map for his team to potentially go to land. Yes, he will. And well, Unnamed, after a very strong attack, they have the room clear out, they have the final execution, they have the clutch players, and they will take Clubhouse 6 rounds to 1 against Guidance Gaming.
Very dominant performance, of course, there from Unnamed, but I still think that them starting out on the defense did a lot for them.
I still think that Unnamed, they're just generally an attacking team anyway, so it doesn't really matter what side they do. Sure, they won their defensive rounds, but in terms of the way that they've played throughout the entire season, their attacks on Clubhouse has been very strong. Even Meatbee said that themselves whenever Unnamed played against Secret. They play very, very slow. They really try and make you as uncomfortable as you can. I know there was times where Meatbee tried to play inside of the catwalk, and Jugger was just tossing nades left, right, and center. Capsule Pulse, Meatbee just couldn't play in catwalk, even stopped playing that in that scenario. Madman, that was probably one of the best moments, I think.
I still can't believe that from Madman at all. Who does that? But again,
I can't remember the last time there was a kill in strip club.
Yeah, that is true. Like, it's just not a place where you roam very well, but you can understand why he's playing there, so he can go for the runouts, right? So, you know, it's not completely out there, but there we go. Madman did very, very well indeed that particular game.